It's rolling.
Oh shit, wait a minute. Okay, so 15 seconds.
Yeah, that's right. We're back. This time we're timing it.
Got a stopwatch.
Yeah. We're going to be 65. You know, we're starting to get a little fuzzy. All right, the forum has been talking about mixing. I thought today would be a good time to just have Russ discuss what he goes through. Like if I hand him the 24-track tape of the session, what does he do? You know, for all you engineers, pay attention. You know? Give them your credentials. How many gold records?
I don't know how many gold records, but
yes,
number ones.
Oh, okay. How many number ones?
89. That I know of.
Yeah, you know. How many albums? Platinum?
35, something like that. Something, I don't know.
You know, if you weren't such a stunad, you could have made something out of yourself. If you would have just bared down just a little harder, you know. Well, there's something for you guys to shoot at, you budding engineers. Okay, so you get the tape. What do? You know, you go into the studio, you put it into the board, and what are you listening for?
Well, let's see. There was really no one set way of doing it.
Right.
I mean, every song, depending on my mood.
Yeah, but basically, if you're going to build with mix, you're going to start with rhythm, right?
Yeah, basically, I start with rhythm.
Yeah.
First of all, I get everything patched up that I want to get patched up. The effects,
right.
echo chambers, whatever.
Right.
Get all that set up, and then everyth's labeled on the board. What is what? You got drums, you got snare, you got bass, you got guitars, you got vocal, whatever. But what I would look for when I'd start a mix, I would put the lead vocal up just so I could hear what it's doing, because the rhythm, the music rather, all the music, really is supporting. They're the supporting role.
Right.
They're supporting that vocalist.
Yeah.
It's got to play off of the music.
Now, when you said you're putting the lead singer up, what he's talking about is, the console has faders, which are nothing more than volume controls. So he raises the fader of the vocalist, and that's what he's listening to.
I'm listening to what the vocalist is saying.
Right.
The attitude, the performance, the lyric, all that stuff.
Right.
So I could design what I want the music to do.
Right.
So then, even before I do that, let's step back a little further. The first thing I had to start doing is listening to each track and putting up a little rough mix to see what the sound is on each track. Then I might want to start messing with the sound of the track.
Right.
I'm trying to create a sound now.
Right.
And that's usually when I start putting the vocal up too, so I could hear. Because sometimes the overall sound has to emanate what the vocal is doing too.
Right.
So that's I start getting the EQ, which is called equalization.
Right. Which is like your
fancy
tone control on your radio, except it's just much more complex.
You're raising frequencies and dipping frequencies you can select, instead of just treble and bass.
Right.
So I might want to alter the sound of that certain track. I might want to use a compressor on a certain thing, which compresses the dynamic range of the instrument or vocals, whatever.
Right.
And then I start messing with the effects, the type of echo I want to use. I want to use a long delay in this one chamber, a shorter delay in another chamber.
What's your favorite chamber? EMTs?
No? They were good. It depended on the song.
Yeah.
Every chamber had a different, its own characteristics. So depending on the song, what kind of chamber am I going to use? And especially when the digital stuff came out, then you had a whole crap load of stuff.
You were using EMTs at Motown LA, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you know those old computer rooms had in the basement all turned into EMT rooms or something
one of
like
them
that?
was an EMT room.
Just one of them was? Okay,
And you could increase and decrease the amount of delay on those, and you could EQ the chamber.
Yeah.
You could put a compressor on the chamber, limit it. You could do whatever you want to it, just to really, make whatever is in your mind you're trying to create.
We're drinking Pepsi Diet today.
And so once I get the overall kind of sound that I'm looking for, then I start from scratch. Everything goes down.
Yeah.
And then I'll put the lead vocal and I'll start building around the vocalist. In the intro, what's that going to do? What kind of instrument?
I think that's one thing you start from scratch. One thing that always used to amaze me to watch is you'd get all these faders would be up and all this sort of stuff. And then you go, okay, and you push them all down. I mean, it's like, God, he did it. He just took it all away again. But you always you do that 9 times before you get started.
Yeah, because I'm searching.
Yeah,
I'm searching for.
I'd get somewhere where I wanted to be, and it was like I wanted to tape them all down so they wouldn't move, and I'd be watching you flapping them down, start over again.
But so then I would start, you know, working the track around.
Right.
Like for example, I get to the first verse, maybe I'll get rid of this certain guitar, and I'll save it for the chorus because I.
So now you're starting to arrange.
I'm starting to arrange.
Mix.
Yeah. So what am I using? You know, what am I going to use here? What am I going to use there?
Yeah.
I want the. I've always liked a lot of dynamics.
Yeah.
In songs.
Motion.
Yeah. So you know, you might have a little bit more quiet in the verse with the instrumentation, then hit more in the chorus, and constantly building. You know.
Right.
And so you're on it's like a roller coaster ride, you know.
Which is really one of the major problems I hear in a lot of the newer stuff I listen to.
It just comes
There's
on.
it comes. There it is.
Yeah.
The song comes up to there, and the song lasts for 4 minutes, and it stays there, and then the song goes
After
away.
a minute, you're young.
So it's boring. Yeah. Right. If you can last a minute, it's going to be boring.
So this way, you know, I love the dynamics, you know, and a lot of times I'd take stuff away, so I could use it later to build, you know, and because a lot of songs have 3 guitars, and this and that. So plenty to play with.
Plenty to work,
Plenty to play with. That's what was fun.
So you don't want to give it away all at once anyway.
No. But then once I get the track, the way I want it, the music, especially with the Neve console, they had the flying faders, you know.
Tell them what flying faders is.
Okay, the fader, to program it, you make your moves, like you're using a guitar right here, and you move this. After you play the song, then the computer remembers every single move you did.
Because the fader is touch sensitive. It's putting a signal in the computer.
If I want to make a change, all I have to do is the fader will be moving or going into its position. I just touch it, make my change, and take my finger off, and it's changed.
That was really an innovation.
Oh,
you know,
love those.
Because what would happen is in the early days, after 8-track, and even 8-track, but
even
when it became
the first 24-track.
You know, but I'm saying when there was 16-track, we had little 2-handed mixes.
Yeah.
You know, so you'd have sometimes it'd be too much for one engineer to mix all this stuff. He's got too many faders to worry about. So then 2 guys would mix. You say, okay, well you take the bass drums and this, and I'll take some, and you'd both do your thing, and it'd become like a team effort until you got the mix. But with the flying faders, once it was programmed into the computer, the fader moved on its own. Like he says, you want to make a change, you touch it, make your change.
Yeah.
So that really helped the process of complex. Yeah, because then it became 24, 48, whatever.
Well, before, before this, like you're saying, you almost had to learn everything in the song. You have to remember.
Right.
Oh, this guitar's I'm taking out, and then every time you did it, you had to remember.
Yeah, but
the computer did it for you.
Right.
But we had a thing with my friend Joe Klein.
Yes. Yes.
We had a thing we called MIM mixing. We called maximum impact mixing. That's crazy.
Yeah, Joe Klein is the guy that drove the IRS. The only guy in the whole United States the IRS says, "Don't ever call us again." Drove him nuts.
Kind of tells you what he's like.
Yeah.
Anyway, what would happen is I'm doing a mix,